Y'all infidels, that's right. It's Hacker Hamin here on the scene 2.0 where it's sticky and green infidels, and I'm here with the main master killer himself. You better salute the veteran and give up your chair when he's in the locker room, infidels. Hacker Hamin, the vet. NXT Next Level 2.0 takeover. Y'all.
Good morning, Ayatollah.
Good morning, veteran. Good to see and salute you, man. I know Ray did a great job. You've been doing a great job as well on so many Hamin Media Group shows. Excellent feedback from an opinion I know that's foundationally as solid, concrete as mine is, man. So to see being able to, do all that work, man, I just want to say thank you as well while I was away on vacation. All the sergeant at arms really pulled together, man, and there wasn't one ball drop. I was super thankful that to get even that small amount of time to get my mind and chi realigned, dude. Fucking, it'll propel me all the way to 2022. So I thank everybody for all the hard work they're putting in.
Well, a much needed rest for you, a nice trip. I'm sure that while you were in Jamaica, you concentrated on what was really important, which was catching up on the G1. And I don't know who you have coming out of the A block and the B block, but it's anybody's game at this point with Naito out. But all joking aside, I did have a question about that. Now,
yeah, man,
when you are taking that much needed battery recharge time, do your gears keep turning even when you're trying to relax, or is thinking about work even a form of relaxation for you, like it is to some people? What is the ratio of thinking about your business empire versus just relaxing on the beach? Like, how does that work for a big Hamin?
Well, that's really what it is. Because I've done shorter trips we did 6 days this time, and it's tough to be away from the dogs of war, but we really, referee Sideburns takes care of business on the compound, so that's all good. So I know everything's in good hands at home at the missile silo. And then when I'm there, it really takes you about 36 hours to detach. And it's about me getting in the ocean. It's about me looking out into the empty void and going, you think you're so fucking over. It's Rip Rogers. You think you're over. Yeah. You ain't over. Look how small you are, bro. Look at everything around you that you don't know about, and people's lives go on, and just get some of those fruit juice rum drinks going and unwind, smoke a big spliff, man, and fucking chill with my beautiful wife and just be in the 87-degree sunshine. New York is such a intense, sometimes toxic, and a lot of times toxic place, and you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, but it's what helped build me, because that's also my roots, and that's why I'm constantly driven and whatnot. But then in the middle of the trip, I really just lay out, bro, and like all that melts away. I might have to watch a little show or upload something, but that's nothing compared to my workflow schedule, because I got everything pre-programmed, So when I can really enjoy it with my wife, I'm just so thankful for those 72 hours before we got to get ready to come back again. And we do something fun, just go to a super nice beach, or we went, couples massage, which dude, I got the deep tissue, and this lady worked so much heat on me, bro. She was built like D'Lo Brown, and she was full into the sciatic, bro. Dropped the Macho Man elbow on me across the calf. I'm like coming up off the table, but I needed that because I worked 2 semi-main events in the last month, and at 44 years old, when you take 10, 11 bumps, you feel it for a fucking month, you know what I mean? And I got 2 big 2CW shows tomorrow and the next day, so I just wanted to be ready. I feel great. I feel better than I have. I've been right back in the gym doing 45 minutes of straight boxing cardio. That's the other thing I wanted to get to, that segue, because the only times I can detach that, like I really can, my brain is segmented into 14 clients and it's constantly switching, is when I'm in the ocean looking out and I can finally let go, or when I'm boxing doing precision striking combos and I have to focus specifically on that, where I'm throwing my punches and making sure my body work is right. Those are the only times I really get to escape the fucking madness I surrounded myself with. So, I appreciate that question though.
Yeah, I guess I wondered too, like, does the relaxation ever give way to further creativity? Like, you get inspired to get an idea or something while you're out there staring at, realizing how not over you are and how to get more over, like, does it lead into that?
Dude, you're right on it, man. You're right on my soul ride today. I appreciate this question from you, dude. Yeah, man, that's really what it is. I not only I can see slightly into the future of everything that I'm trying to create, but to see the big vision, I have to let that go. And then usually I have like a bigger epiphany. It doesn't happen huge this time. Like, I kind of know where the ship is headed, but 2-3 years ago, I did have one of those like boom lightning strike moments of where I need to go when we were around 2 million downloads. So, we're getting there, and there's a lot more that I have to accomplish by the end of 2022 structure wise. And I know where it needs to go and how to work that into the timeline. So yeah, to your question again, while I'm able to let that stuff go and kind of channel it, I guess I still am thinking about business in my life as in general, 5, 10 year, 15-year plans. Because tomorrow I can fucking step off the curb and fucking get hit by a bus, right? And it's over with. But
yeah,
I'm just trying to live every day creative, man. And we had a big put over session on the Monday locker room, and it was well earned and deserved because I come back with the one love mentality instead of being a vicious motherfucker. But then Extreme Rules pissed me off, and I was calling people cunts 10 minutes later. So, but whatever.
What a pile of shit that was. I was now just real quick on that, because I was on the Smack Attack, of course, and I put it out there. It's like, look, if you're ever gonna do something to get the belt off of Roman, this would have been the perfect time, even if just for a few weeks. This would be a guy that's over. Give him a little something to do. Let Roman fuck off with Brock. Take the title out of the picture. Come back and get it from Finn whenever you want to. But just, they're always talking about shaking up, these things, and then they never shake anything up. And there's nobody left. Like, there's just, it keeps going back to the same things. And they're out of people. They turn everybody heel. There's no baby faces. Roman's he's gone through everybody multiple times.
The baby faces get heat on the heel.
Yeah, heat on the heels. So it's like that would have been a good time to do something, and predictably they didn't. They did nothing. So
they did less than nothing, really. And then on Raw, it was a complete rip because, hey, buy into this fantasy world and da da da. Oh, and then we're gonna have a cage match, main event out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Just hanging. Oh, okay, everything's phony. We're fucked.
It was never so crystallized for me until the first the empty arena WrestleMania, where you have this weird match with John Cena and Bray Wyatt, where it's completely like this miniature movie. And then you're basically just saying, okay, all this is just entertainment. It's a TV show, is bullshit, whatever. And then right after that, we're supposed to watch Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre. Like, am I supposed to care about this now? Right. Like, you shit on everything. There's nothing left.
How about it was Randy and Randy and fucking, they're doing the projection on the worm. And then so they do all the voodoo shit to help him win, and he loses. He has Kevin Dunn on Voodoo Lockdown, just like fucking Finn does. Apparently, Kevin Dunn is back there possessed, pressing buttons for guys, right? Like that, I'd like to see. And then the guy who's supposed to go over because of the voodoo shit, just like this, loses. I agree that with all that. So why are you doing all the Broadway pomp and circumstance if you're not going to pay it off? Now, that being said, I don't think he should lose to Finn, because you keep him strong Hogan level heel, like Hogan held the belt for 3 years undefeated or what have you. Fucking and then when we can finally get Rock in between movies, that's when it fucking happens there with The Rock, and then you big rematch it, boom, and fucking put it back on him and Rock him fuck off, and he's made with that. But you get that run, and you build guys to that. Now,
Rock don't need the belt, though.
Did Bobby Lashley is the dirtiest, in my opinion, because they had him lose clean at the pay-per-view when they could have had him not. Then they had this Goldberg thing on Monday where Bobby's in the fucking main now in the match, and we've aligned Hurt Business and New Day. They got the biggest pop there, right? When they came back out. Then they went like 6 more minutes and lost them, bro. People were sitting down during the cage match like, fucking, okay, we'll get to the finish, I guess. And the story they told was an escape story, which is a kind of a coward story. And instead they end with a strong pin. But right before that, they had Goldberg fucking cutting the promo via Skype.
I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, which they can't deliver on.
Of course not.
So
babyface heat. I'm going to kill you.
Right. So that's where Goldberg should have come down, ripped the fucking door off, taking him out. And then you have a reason why Big E can leave and what have you. And Lashley's down and the business is there. Instead, they smashed Lashley twice, even after reuniting with the Hurt Business. Like, what the fuck?
Which came out of nowhere.
And they had Lashley. Here's what they're doing, Vet. They're ripping up the script at 2 p.m. because they taped that Lashley promo accepting the match after they realigned the Hurt Business with them. The promo should have been those 3 colluding, somebody trying to get information to me, like, get the fuck out of here, So they're setting up for the main, but they already had that in the can. Ripped the script, and then they put Hurt Business back with them at 2 p.m. And how are we going to know they're back together? Oh, like they look at each other and everybody smiles. Hey, I guess, okay, that it's as easy as that. But then
they came out wearing some of the merchandise that's on clearance at WWE Shop, so that's how you know for sure.
Goddamn warehouse full of these goddamn Hurt Business shirts. We got to move. We got to get them back out. Hey, Vat. It could be that. That could have been
really
the second factor.
Really could be. We got to move the rest of these. Even at $5 a piece, they're not moving. So you mentioned 2CW, and you're gonna have my guy Moose coming back now. You better take care of Moose. I know what he did to you, Ben, but I don't care. You'd better take care of Moose here.
We got unfinished business, me and Moose, and he might be in incredible shape now, but I'm in better shape than when he speared me, and we're gonna see. We'll
see who's in more shape.
Yeah, if he takes out referee sideburns in a highly innovative and violent way, then maybe I can find it in my heart to bury the hatchet. But I'm telling you right now, he's got one coming. He's got one up on me. So you better not. Syracuse is my town. It's not Moose's town. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, I'll just let you know then that he's susceptible to a roll up. But that brings about an interesting question I wanted to also bring up is, like, we got the draft coming up. We know that this don't really mean shit, but I thought I could turn it into a question that does kind of mean something and get some insight. So let's say I pitched this idea to McIver about something I did on my old podcast where Sergio and I kind of did like a world draft. Like, you draft any active wrestler and pick 10 of them. Pick 10 of them to start a promotion with. 10 guys, 5 women, and just whatever. But the catch is, like a real draft, if they're off the board, they're off the board. So you got to pick more than 10 in case somebody takes your picks and deal with it that way. Well, we don't have to do all that, but while I got you here, Ben, if you could, who's your number 1 draft pick in professional wrestling now? And keeping in mind, like, not necessarily you're going to use the creative. Like, obviously, you look at a guy like a Roman, it's like, oh, I'd love to have a Roman, but not necessarily going to come with the Paul Heyman as a package deal. You're not going to do the same creative that him. You're starting your own promotion, and who do you want to do whatever you want? Who's your number 1 guy?
God damn, that's a great question. Big. You're talking all active roster and shit like that, right? Nothing from the past where he's like a
as long as they're alive and halfway active. Like if you want to spend your draft pick on Sting, I mean you can, but not even that you could get several years out of Sting if you use them right. So that's not that bad of an idea, but just as long as they're alive, I'll allow it.
And who's out there right now? Man, there's a fuck. That I just don't give shit. Roman would be good because I would like to do the Samoan Dynasty Sopranos things how I want to do it. You know what I mean? So there's a lot I could take from there and really make some epic drama with as well. Who's the top guys in AEW? Punk. I would love to. I think Punk if I was running AEW, it's like not. That's a different question. Not who would I bring over to
right.
change the needle? Because I want to write Punk and Cabana too.
You're right. I guess in this fantasy scenario that will never happen, you can kind of assume that no one in the world knows who these people are, and you're going to make them know. So you're really looking at the guy that can.
It's based on look and draw. Bobby Lashley, absolutely.
Kind of, yeah.
Lashley, the guy's fucking A+ worker, such a kind dude and easy to get along with. No doubt about it that him, Brock Lesnar, because that's really what it is. At the end of the day, I look at what drew in Rome in whatever 400 AD, right? And would Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar draw in Rome in the Coliseum? Yeah, it would. So that's what I think about, and that's where still been left on the table, and we haven't done anything with that, So maybe it's just because I'm a body guy thinking about who it is. I think there's a lot of money on Wardlow and Brian Cage, guys like that too, and it's for that exact same reason. If you had an upper deck roster of guys who look like that and a believable title hunt for super heavyweights, and but then there's also guys like Rey Mysterio who are merch machines for masks and things like that. If you do it right, I can't believe they're running the stupid ass soccer baseball dad storyline with Rey being the heel when the whole thing should be the son earning his stripes and earning respect and always doing the right thing because his dad's been a baby for so long, as he goes on to earn his mask. And then boom, you do matching masks, father son Halloween, like, you know what I mean? Like the whole story's right there, and they're going they took the fucking second exit. We got 300 miles and 300 exits to go, like no way is that the right choice to make. So, just to get to a match where there's heat, where Ray and him have a match for Ray to be out, like you're missing it. And they stole the fucking Method Man Wu-Tang fucking emblem and put their own little twist on it. But
yeah,
dude, I would like to hate on that, but the wives just grabbed me a fucking dope Wu-Tang shirt for like $8.99 at Walmart. So the brand is completely pimped out, man, but so just a call for you. And yeah, man, I don't know, Seth's killing it right now, but that's character work. In my opinion, I've been super critical of him. Is there anybody that really gets me going, wow, I got to see this is not miss, I don't know. Maybe I'm too jaded, but
yeah, maybe so. Seth is he's a shadow of his 2014 self, or whenever that was, when he was doing that whole double title run with the Authority, stuff like that. That was the best Seth Rollins is ever going to get. And they made the big mistake they made was when he got hurt, people respected his work as a heel and as a performer so much that they just felt like when he came back, it would be a big babyface story, and they never should have done that. On night one, he should have said, I never got one card, one fan letter, no, nothing, you don't care, I don't care, and just go back to that. But instead, they tried the babyface thing, and it ended in disaster, and now he's been floundering. Even now, it's like, he's doing okay stuff, but it's okay in the bubble of wrestling. You know what I mean? It's still terrible acting by any measure of television or movie standards. So I'm not really that into what he's doing, but he kind of reached a peak in that 2014 era.
Right. I would take Alexa Bliss and not with what she's doing now, like you said, but there's the way she can deliver lines that are garbage and they're above and beyond where other people. Sheamus, I like. Guys like Cesaro, there's just so much left on. Sean Spears, like, I know these guys can get shit over. They just have terrible fucking opportunities, to be honest with you. Yeah, dude, I think, I remember even Revolver saying it best. He's like, you go to a war with the army that you have, not the army that you want. So, yeah, you can recruit and there's budget, but if people know how to get over, anybody can get over. It doesn't, sure, we want a bunch of different styles and body types on the show so everything's not repetitive and absolutely. But, you can get guys over with 1,000 different things. People just want to bite on the story and connect to something. And you might not have the big muscle dummies to fucking be the ooh and ah. So what do you got to do creatively in with who you got around you? And it's about setting up classic campfire caveman stories that have been around since the fucking beginning of time. Somebody getting hit in the nuts inadvertently is always funny. And it's been fucking funny forever. And how can we book one of those spots on a show, you know what I mean, and embarrass somebody, or two brothers going at it over a fucking ex-wife or something along those lines. High stakes shit. Like, that shit's been going on since earliest before man could even read. So, or write. So, like, that's, I think if you can connect with that, it don't matter who the fuck, because all you're going to really do is try and get to those stories with your big muscle dummies anyway. So all the big muscle dummy shit is just extra padding, you know what I mean? And the ooh and ah to live vicariously, and it doesn't help the draw, sure. But at the end of the day, it's the core of the human id that fucking we want to connect to.
Well, this shit's all very simple, but they're making it hard. I mean, isn't that what Rip always said?
Yeah, dude. There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat, and there's all these choices, right? And let's at least identify the top 3 that give us great outs, great endings, great fucking, not your baseball dad now. Oh, okay.
The WWE is trying to put skin on a cat that already has skin.
Yes. It's fucking crazy.
So, yeah. Well, just something to think about. The industry leader just forgetting everything that they ever taught us themselves. But right. but now they're taking a vested interest in the future of their own company, which they should have all along. When we've got this NXT now, which supposedly is a lot more hands-on for the people that are supposed to be paying attention to the WWE. They also should have been paying at least somewhat of attention to NXT this entire time, but only now they've decided, okay, let's go ahead and play over here now and try to run some shit here. And there's a lot of stuff that we can speculate on about the politics of why they're doing it, why they're choosing now to do it, and some of it's pretty obvious, and some of it's probably would surprise us, but this is not necessarily, you turn your back for a few measly weeks and we've got a brand new NXT, Ben. What do you make of what you're seeing right here?
It pops me with the big paint thing that kind of looks, LGBTQ friendly, but really it's like, what the hell do they got over? They've got exploding powder on AEW. We're going to do paint splashes like fucking Art Nouveau. Like, it feels like 1991, 92 with, neon colors and everything and cross color clothing, that we're just reliving that in a marketing era now. And that could have come out of some focus group of Ad Age magazine that Stephanie, deals with. So the new arena, I mean, here we are, Vet. This looks like our place. It looks like OPW. It's scaled back. It's stripped down. There's fucking 4 tiers of seating spread out. It's not bad. It's a nice little arena feel. I don't know how it works for morale there, though. But I like the look of it, and the little entrance thing, instead of having a big ramp and all that walk down, is interesting too. So I think they did good with it. Some things pop me that are over unnecessary because you got this little studio now, and then they march out the big throne for the fucking Asian fucking voodoo mama juju. I'm like, where the fuck the throne is just sitting back there, push it out.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice of this. It's nice of this ancient evil ancestor, like to show up at get a nice $500 a week contract. It's really cool of them to offer this legendary mythic figure.
She sits back there in the corner at NXT all week while people are training just to be wheeled out on the fucking thing. It's so Disney, bro. It's so like fucking Disney.
But that's a holdover. It's just that they weren't doing that when you were watching with Ray. Like, they cut those guys off of TV, and as soon as you pass the show off to me, then they trot her back out. I was like, oh, Ben didn't get to see any of this. This sucks. But you're getting to see it a little bit now. I think.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say I think the paint splash is a really good metaphor, because it's like they just took a bunch of buckets of paint, threw it on the wall, and saw what stuck, because they don't know. They honestly have no idea what's going to get over, so they're just throwing as many things at you as fast as they can. Before you realize what hit you, you're already getting hit with something else, and that's why I think it's a very apropos new logo for what their direction is.
I don't mind it, but being a '90s kid fully, to me, right away when I saw it, is you can do what you want. Yeah. And live in color. Like, yep. That's all I whenever I see that shit. So
what's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine.
That's right. So that to me is what totally signifies that this is nothing more than what's going to be popular in marketing in the next 2 years, and they got the inside track on it of what it is. So yalla. Yeah. But we kick it off tonight in the arena. It was cool to see it and check back in. Quick package of NXT update, and they're at the PC. We're going to get a no DQ match in honor of Not So Extreme Rules. We're going to do all our extreme matches on other shows except for the pay-per-view. So we're going to get the Hurt, not the Hurt Business. What is it? Death Row Records comes down, and they do a promo. Now, this is something that was interesting I wanted to see, because they're doing scripted bits because everybody is hyping each other up. Yeah, say word. And then they all know when to come in, do the get the money and fucking, so they know where they're going in the setups to get to the group spots, because they're not that cool to do. When I say bad, you say, like in the moment. So scripted wise, they're delivering in an interesting character way. It's not the tightest thing, but it's different, right? So my question is, do they have carte blanche to come up with their own thing? Because they were delivering it hip hop street style with a lot of slang that will go right over most generationals' heads, and making it cool. They're making it relevant, 2021 hip hop relevant, for whatever that means. And but is there a white kid backstage writing out a promo in a very white way and goes, now you guys sauce it up however you need to, but that's what's going on there, man.
This is the psychic link that we have, because it's the same exact thought process as, I don't know how much freedom they have to create. I'm sure they have some input on it, but what this sounds like to me is the staff writer for I believe they call it urban programming. The one white guy that gets hired on as the, I have had good grades in college, so I get to be on this. I get to be a staff writer for Nick Cannon's Wildin' Out or whatever.
Right.
That's what it sounds like to me. The slang sounds a little forced. This all sounds a little unnatural. I having seen AJ on the Hidden Treasures show, this is not who he is whatsoever. Right. So I'm not buying it. But the fans that don't watch that shit don't need to know that. And white America doesn't know the difference. So it's only the people that, that are in touch with the culture somewhat. And I admit that I'm a little less in touch with the culture than I was when I was young, but I also work with plenty of youth, and I kind of get a feel for what the kids are doing and saying and thinking nowadays. So like I kind of get it, and to me it feels like much like technology. Like it seems like when you get your piece, it's already like 3 months out of date. So like I feel like Hit Row is about 6 to 8 months, maybe a year out of date already in terms of where they're at with their stuff. But you saw them before. Do you think they've progressed or regressed?
The first they were kind of more gangster, and now they're kind of like, what's the fucking group with Fergie and Will.I.am and them fucking
Black Eyed Peas?
They're like the Black Eyed Peas with fucking another one, DJ Khaled.
DJ Khaled.
He's not
Flo Rida.
He went,
all things that a white mom would listen to while taking their kids to soccer practice.
They went from Tupac and fucking Suge to that. Now like that's kind of where they've gone, and that's maybe not a bad, because Death Row. How did Death Row end? And Suge is not like, if you want to heal, sure, and be Suge, but if you want to make money and you want to be commercial hip hop, like who's hot? Khaled's hot. Like you got to go that way. So a marketing wise introduction into a transition into that isn't that bad, because really that's what happened to hip hop anyway. So
yeah,
but they have group energy.
I do think that
group energy together.
I do think that, and I said this before, like as long as they're going to do this gimmick, they might as well monetize it as well, and the WWE can sell like their music on iTunes and stuff. Like if you're going to make real music, go that route. Right? Rather than just print up a bunch of T-shirts, you can still do that, but in addition, sell an album or an EP or something that people can actually buy to listen to.
Just digital downloads, man. 99 centers, bro. I bet that would make them $100,000 extra.
If you're gonna sell Elias's album, to fucking sell these guys.
Fuck yeah, dude! And it makes the gimmick more credible. It's not like you can't come up with some little shitty song. You know what I mean? We could have that.
Well, allegedly they are, because again, like going back to a long time ago, when Swerve first came on there, they tried to they just had him have matches, and then randomly one day they showed a vignette of him like in the studio making music. Like as this is a thing, and this is still a babyface at this time, so he's kind of like, yeah, this is a thing I do, and then nothing for months, and then all of a sudden Hit Row out of nowhere. So it's like I assume that's something he brought to them, probably a conversation with Triple H or whoever, and just like, what do you like to do? Like what else about Swerve? And he's like, well, I do music, and then he's like, okay, let's do something with that, and then they kind of abandoned it for a little bit. Now it's back, so it's not like there's no precedent for it.
He's got a very Migos feel to it, and they were this close with Cardi B before she got pregnant, and poor Carmella, that was going to be her big shining moment, and unfortunately out the window for her. But they need that hip hop put over. You got Wale in your back pocket, like you could get these guys, Migos and them, and do a little something together. They'll write a little hook, pay for it, and now you're off the races. You'll make your fucking money back, but it gives a big spotlight, world star spotlight to fucking that. You know what I mean? Like people are going to tune in to see that shit. And a younger generation that's into it, I don't give a shit if it's Bobby Shmurda, whoever the fuck you want in there. You know what I mean? You had Soulja Boy and who was the other dude who wanted to fucking come in? Like all that shit, and never say never. Leo Rush is a dude who would fit right back into that shit too.
Leo Rush just released an album of some sort.
Why not bring him back in with fucking some hip hop connections? And there's your fucking little hip hop war inside of whatever the fuck, right, dude? Like
I'll tell you why not, because they don't like him. If they did, he would still be there.
I agree.
But this leads into a match with what's her name? B-Fab, which we learned the B stands for beauty. Beauty Fab. Versus I was calling her Carmen Sandiego. She didn't have the big hat on this week though, so she's just Elektra Lopez then.
Okay, she's just Electra Lopez. Yeah, like there's a lot of good on this show, but there's a lot of green in this match. I did really like. Was it this? No, it was the girls' tag match, or was it this one? They did a big pin drill story in the beginning of this, did they? Yeah.
And
like
this one, maybe, yeah. This heated feud where they've been attacking each other, and this thing between Phantasma and Hit Row has gone on for months and months and months of brutal violence, and of course they would start with a pin drill, right?
Oh, no,
exactly
it's
how
not
you.
This one. It's not this one. Doesn't start with the pin drill. That was the girls' tag.
I would believe it.
I like the girls' tag. That's what I was going to say. There was an awesome pin drill in there. But they start out hot here with the kendo sticks and all that shit. Get a table on the outside, which gets a little botchy. They're going to do a leg pump thing over the fucking goalpost part of the under, and it keeps falling down. And they work through it. But Lopez, one thing she really needs to work on that is, and they need to cut the moves in half. That's the first thing. So half the offense, sell twice as much, or sell it all, because Lopez feeds into her slam, boom, takes a slam, and the chick backs up. She gets right up and faces her and starts coming at her again. No back sell, no sell away, no come get me so we can get to the corner, then shoot me off that we can get into the next spot and get a rhythm going. She's just taking offense and standing right back up, looking at her opponent and walking right in. Okay, I get it. Like, she looks good and we're giving her a shot, but we got to go call timeout right there. You take a slam, boom. You sell your back. Oh, you motherfucker. You turn maybe over to your right to get up on one knee, as we should, to walk away so your opponent has to come get you on the ropes. That gives the heel time to stalk. Mm-hmm. Stalking is a big thing for a heel, so I can, look at them. Now I'm going, ha, 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 and give you time to get set up for the next thing that I'm going to give you so we can be in position to be safe. Club you in the back as you're on the middle ropes. You sell down to the ropes. I come in, choke you, you get ready for the next fucking thing. Okay, we're going to do this up and over. You fucking kick me in the guts. Give me the fucking tilt-a-whirl DDT. All right, you ready? Yep. Shoot him in. Fucking here I come. Up and over. Spike Dudley. Boom. Yeah, the fucking after I just gave you my heat. But if you fucking just, you know why they're doing that? Because in the back they go, you give me a slam, I'll come up, da-da-da-da. She's just walking through it in her mind. They're not talking anything in the ring. That's why there's no selling in between, bro.
Yeah, what you're talking about is working. Right. That's not what gets done these days. What gets done these days is what we like to call pre-planned bullshit. Yeah, and you have to remember that. And if you're remembering that, you can't react. If you can't react, you can't, you can't sell the idea that this is really a contest and this is really happening. You're just going through the motions. And I think part of that is, well, it's obviously an experience, but also part of it, besides the memorization, is you have this level of a panic when you're on TV and you're a fraud. You have this level of panic that I can't let the people get bored. I have to do something. I can't just sit here. They equate selling with inaction, and that's not necessarily the case. I mean, the chat can type their favorite wrestler of all time in the who you think was the best wrestler of all time in this chat. Everyone will have a different answer, but the one thing they'll all have in common is that they sold. So you kind of just have to really learn that. But we're getting people rushed into positions that they're not ready to be. This is BFAB's second ever match on TV. And we're already doing no DQs. What on what planet are you ready for a no DQ match in your second televised match, man? Right.
Lopez scoops up BFAB in the middle of the ring, hits a sit down power bomb for the win after it was a chair shot. Electra Lopez up after Electra Lopez stands tall, and Hit Row comes back and checks on BFAB as Legado del Fantasma poses with Lopez in the entranceway. Yay. This next thing, so here's the big thing that I'm pumped about with NXT 2.0 that drives me absolutely insane about the main shows. We have, and shout out to whoever's doing it. I'm hoping it's Jimmy Paradise and Borash. these little fucking on the beach and at the hotel honeymoon vignettes with Gargano and Dexter Lumis, Indy Hartwell, and Candice LeRae. These were great. And why the frig can we not get out of the arenas and go shoot things for Killer Cross on locations? Why can't we do them for Lashley and the Hurt Business meeting up earlier in the day, have it as a WWE? Now that's confidential. What if we see Lashley getting out of a limo and then going into a restaurant and we see Shelton Benjamin and fucking Cedric doing that? Like, hey, what's going on here? And they want no interviews, none of that shit. Like, we don't get anything real world. At least here they're doing wrestle crap, having a good time. And what I got to say, because I've worked a lot of shows with Gargano and Candice and Dexter Lumis, I met at OVW. Nice guy. Everybody's playing their part in this comedic summer love story classic. What's the guy who did all the films in the 80s with fucking do with the boombox? So Cusack with the boombox, whatever that.
Cameron Crowe.
Yeah, all those types of films. This is the NXT stripped down version. All those fucking bumps Gargano took with Ciampa smacking his head off the concrete. This was the fucking best thing to get him over, was his performance in these vignettes tonight, bro. As the fucking guy who's caught in the middle trying to do things. And then Dexter Lumis playing his part of the silent, very Harpo Marx, very just waiting to do the fucking go home button with a sight gag. Bravo to everybody involved. This is as simple as it has to be, but as high level. At developmental, they are doing outside shooting and things that are going to get people more over and are more entertaining than what I'm seeing on the main 3-hour and 2-hour shows, bro. Why can't we do it? Because they're not ripping up the script at NXT because Bruce and Vince haven't taken over yet. But up there at 2 p.m. on Friday or on Monday, shit's changing when they already got stuff in the can and nothing is making sense continuity-wise. You can follow this Indy Hartwell story and Dexter Lumis for the last 9 months, maybe. That's good long-term business. They should pat themselves on the back for carrying that out because they fucking sure as aren't doing it up there, bro.
Yeah, I mean, you answered your own question with, why can't they do that? Is because they're ripping everything up at the last minute. Yeah, that other stuff requires planning. It requires scouting. It requires actually making an effort and leaving the location to scout another location. And then you got to bring your crew with you. And then you got to do all these things. These are things that they used to do back when they cared. And I'm not even going to fault them too much for not doing that as much anymore because we live in a weird time. So whatever. This stuff here, the NXT stuff, I mean, needless to say, I hated it. But I can understand why people can find this entertaining in a way. Because, I mean, if someone, shits in your mouth every week for 5 years, and then when somebody pisses in it, you're like, oh, how refreshing.
That was delicious.
Yeah, so like, of course this stuff seems good. It's still the worst thing ever, but... he does the sharp,
perfect for developmental. That's what's good about it. You know what I mean? It's like fun stuff that's harmless and can be not judged at like the highest level. Like they spent their money on this, Well,
you say developmental, but 3 of the 4 principals in this are in their mid to late 30s. They're not developing anymore. Only Indy Hartwell's the one that gets any development.
I disagree there.
And she's not going to get any better because she lays in bed with Dexter Lumis. She's not going to get, that's not going to get her to keep a job when they actually have to have her have matches. So
I think Johnny Gargano's developed a lot. If you can go from doing crazy bumps, not that he couldn't deliver in character before and whatnot, but this was more personality than I've seen from him. And that's what Vince needs to see in order to sell, because otherwise he's just looking at a little guy. He's like, what the hell's London doing over there? He thinks London and Kendrick are still signed. So
if you prove your worth as an entertainer, you too can possibly be Keith Lee's manager. I will say that
fucking A, if the check is there and you can get it over and you're not getting concussed, man, get that money. That was one thing last night that while you're talking managers kind of not breaks my heart because he fits in as part of the stage picture. The guy's brilliant. Robbie E, whatever his fucking WWE name is. That Robbie E should have been built. Robbie E during the pandemic early on when we were doing NXT in the crowd. I remember there was a takeover and he got thrashed and a bunch of shit. And then the next and he lost all his clients. The next night on Raw, when they were supposed to be in the crowd, for 3 hours, he sat there and sold. He hadn't taken a shower. His clothes are all disheveled. That guy's a fucking pro, bro. Like I've worked a lot of shows with him, a true pro. And they should have been building him as like a Jerry Maguire type. He could have been a little flamboyant, metrosexual, more version 2021, but let him be taken seriously. That's a guy who could have been Keith Lee's manager. You know what I mean? If you would have built the integrity of getting to the draft this week and now he's doing deals, you see him and Paul Heyman doing deals and you see him with Pierce and that's all you need is just him like that way. And I'll call you 1 second. Yeah, it looks like it's going to go through. No, I think you're going to be happy with the numbers. Like he's over. And you can tie him into a lot of people who don't have a manager. Someone can come to him and he can turn away a client and that dude can get pissed off. And then the client he does represent has a match with that guy. That easy, bro.
Well, these are all fine ideas that would never happen. And that's the thing why
take Adam Cole to do that or Gargano when you got a guy that can fucking do it at a high level? Because
they don't know that he actually works there. So they don't know that he has that gimmick. They don't know that he works there.
Last night, he looked like a Shawn Michaels wedding outfit from 1990, whatever he was wearing.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, like he can't be consistently used on TV, no matter who's in charge over there. Like they seem like they want to do something. They put all the jobbers with him, and then he won't be on TV for a month. So look, I don't know what the deal is with Stone, Robert Stone.
I think once Chelsea Green and his thing ended and she was gone, I don't know if there was heat by association.
No, even before that, it was like she barely was around. They got no TV time. So that's the thing. Like it's hard when you kind of have to dip in and out of this stuff. But when you watch it consistently every week, like I do, you see like how inconsistent certain things are and then how very consistent other things are. So for one reason or another,
you got Rockstar Spud in him. Those should be two guys in management 101. I'm not saying anybody's as good as Bobby Heenan, don't get me wrong, but both those guys could do Heenan bits and get over. You know what I mean? Absolutely. And you know who else could fucking help get baby faces over and help do deals for them? Pat McAfee. Hey, bro, I've dealt with fucking the end of, like, let me look at your contract, bro. You don't want this in here. And he writes it. And then there's heat with McAfee, but McAfee fucking does it. And people start like all these things that could have been built to, bro.
Well, once again, you're pitching all these ideas. They're good and they're not going to happen. So, I mean, don't get your heart set on it. The only thing you can count on is that the guys that you like from NXT, you'll get your heart broken when they get called up. Yeah. But one thing I will say in Johnny's favor is that I always did accuse him of having the cold black eyes of a shark, and he got the Shark Boy gimmick from The Simpsons over here. So it all comes full circle in the end.
Good work. Then we get my man Joe Gacy, and I heard this was getting canceled, and maybe that was a planned story to like get people triggered because they didn't want to go this way.
Maybe it's the telephone game. Maybe they heard the word canceled and thought the gimmick was canceled when it was really about being canceled.
Right.
The promo was about canceling.
So I'm pumped. I've worked shows with this guy. I'm not trying to pull that card, but Gacy and I were on so many shows and I would rib that you're ducking me, Gacy, all the time. And he would fucking, because there'd be run-ins and shit. Like, you're scared as shit to fight me, Gacy, you pussy. And because it would never get booked. So then he got into NXT and I was like, see, you had to go to NXT because I whoop your fucking ass, Gacy.
Well, he had to develop and learn as a wrestler so he could fight you properly.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I've seen Joe get over a ton, and now this is a new character for him, and I know he can do it and deliver, but I wish I had 3-4 weeks to work with him. That there was a lot of things I need to iron out in the pacing of his promo and the delivery, and to make it more human while delivering the message. The message is there, but the delivery was very not coached. You know what I mean? And I don't know if they don't have somebody there that can help do that, but that's my fucking specialty. And I want Gacy to succeed more than anybody. And I especially love this gimmick because it's so in the now and instantly makes the show relevant and controversial. So, I
had a different take on it. I think he is being coached to talk like that.
I'm wondering, but it's not working.
It's definitely not working, but I feel like that's someone else's idea. I think he would know better than that, even instinctually.
But what somebody's idea is, and I can see what they want to do, but it's not getting there. If you want to go that route, then we need to get to that and feel what it feels like and turn it up. Let's not find that voice week after week on camera. So 12 weeks from now, we've metamorphosized into what it could have been. Let's find it right now and work on that. And I wish I had the time to put in Zoom calls with them to help them right now, but I'm so fucking overbooked, man. Like, because I want that guy to succeed big time, and I know he can. And that's a character that fuck the wrestling, bro. I'm waiting for the entertainment sake so I can get hot about this guy, and then somebody comes out to kill him, you know?
Overbooked like a Cody Rhodes finish. Well, I will say that I think that he mentioned something about without throwing a punch. He actually did throw a punch in his match the previous week, but I don't think that's cleverness on the part of whoever wrote this. I can kind of see, like, if it is somebody that's in fact trying to coach him a certain direction, I can see somebody thinking, maybe somebody that's out of touch thinking like, well, if you talk like this, you're going to get heat. You know, I could see an older out of touch person thinking that, like, it's just a little too old school. If you're going to do a gimmick of now, you have to be of now. You can't just do 80s promos saying certain buzzwords.
What I like too is that he's his indie name. I'm not sure if Joe Gacy's his real name or not, to be honest with you, but that's a good thing to have, though. But yeah, no, it's too cool of a name for him. But but what if Stevie Richards did come back? It's not right to censor. The gimmick would be called cancel culture. Is what you brand it. And yeah, Stevie could easily be a bigger mentor to him in that, and fucking help get that over and really help get Gacy's character established. I think that's a phenomenal idea, man, especially in this day and age. You can even bring back Val if you wanted with it, to be honest with you. You can bring them all back in a way, but I think Stevie would be a great fit in to help Gacy get over with this, and also it's stronger to have two people on the side of the fence instead of one just out there trying to toe that. You know what I mean? So
he'd be a great addition to anybody, but the other problem with this is that Joe Gacy has already been on TV as this other thing, and then he just out of nowhere for no reason decides he's going to do this other gimmick. So it's only a few weeks ago.
Also on TV as the zombie undead as well.
Sure. And but this is a problem that where you throw people out there and then you want to re-debut them. I mean, I don't understand what the benefit of that would be.
I think the heat and the timeliness of it is enough to forgive the restart and be like, here it is. This is what we're really going with and getting behind if you're going to get behind it and do it. But right now they're walking way too fine of a line. They need to step over the line and really push and find 2 or 3 things within the company to cancel and fucking get heat on that people will respond to. This is a great opportunity creatively, but they got to stop being pussies about it and start writing for things that trigger pussies to fucking get it over, you know? So
never going to happen.
The music interrupts. Gacy and out comes on. Quinn, Alicia Taylor does the introductions. Quinn is former rugby star Daniel Vito. On out next comes Oni Lorcan. My man Biff. I'm going to be, he's 2 CW zone. Biff and Ted. Teddy Goods. He's working tomorrow night, and I look forward to seeing Ted. That's a guy who, when Biff got signed, I thought Ted would too. He looks great. He's a Northeastern staple in all indies and has worked with the best of the best, man. And Ted Goods, he's been on Impact and AEW as well. So I hope he gets the shot. But Oni Lorcan, I like the, bald head look fucking shooter, man. I think he really needs to get called up along with there was another one I was saying, I can't remember off the top of my head, but similar to that, and be put with what's to do with the fucked up tooth that was with Tommaso?
Oh, Timothy Thatcher.
They need to fucking go under Cesaro in like a shooter's camp, that and become just like badass fucking snake pit pro guys and fucking stretchers. I think that would get them all over, because right now they're all kind of floundering. That gimmick's tough, but again, if you got a bunch of guys on the same page, it can get over. And I also think the Irish guy, I don't know if Pete Dunne's Irish, and in my mind, everybody's Irish. Pete Dunne should go with Sheamus, and so should another fucking dude that there's like another Irish dude that they should all be together, and they should do a thing like the Pikeys from fucking Snatch, or from what's the old school one where they all wear the fucking caps.
Well, Pete Dunne is English, so I don't know if he's
Irish. He's fine. Fucking
fine.
The Peaky Blinders. They should do like an updated Peaky Blinders thing. Because there's no way none of them are getting over without the help of main roster guys.
Well, is this over with you, Ben? During this match, I think that it was Vic Joseph who said that Zion Quinn had a, quote, snarl type offense.
I do kind of.
I think you have a kind of a snarl type offense. Ben, what does that entail for the people that aren't aware? A lot of snarling, like
and then club or rip the face, back rakes, front chancery, big glom, put you in a fucking abdominal stretch, put the killer Kowalski claw on your ribs, fucking rank it, hip toss, Eddie Guerrero on your face boot, hit you with the fucking Garvin stomp around, bring you back up, nut splitter on the fucking legs, bring your legs back, drop the head into your fucking nuts, and then probably put you in the corner, snap mare, give you the Charlotte Flair, drop kick, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2 kick out, you turn over, give you Yokozuna balls on the back, camel clutch, fight for the ropes.
Oh, well, that sounds good. Just for a little context, last week this guy had a vignette where he tried to hold the door open for a couple of ladies who I don't know if they're in actually NXT, but they were trying to get in. And then some guy tried to just cut ahead and go in there in front of them, and then he beat that guy's ass in the parking lot. So I kind of thought he was going to be a heel, but they kind of positioned him not as so much as a heel here.
Right, they're talking about chivalry here, so I guess they want him over. Who knows? He fights for love. That's what he's fighting for.
With a snarl.
Zion Quinn goes up, though. What I liked about this Rip Rogers style, Oni Lorcan beat the fuck out of him for 80-90% of the match. Hey, you're winning. Who gives a fuck? I'm taking this match. And that's what it was. Biff looks strong here, and then he gets beat with a quick Samoan drop, kip up gimmick, and then he fucking leaves him with the flying clothesline. So vignette for Grayson Waller. He's a thrill junkie. I was like, is he really, or are we getting worked? Because they kept cutting to like B-roll footage. I'm like, that could be anybody. How the fuck do I know it's Grayson Waller? But dude, then Grayson Waller had a match later, and I believe it was fucking him, because that shit he was doing was shit I will never do. So, but he's gonna take on Roddy Strong in what are the Diamond Miners? Is that what they are?
Yeah, sure. Diamond Miners come out with pickaxes and little helmets with flashlights on them.
I did like the visual, the MMA visual with them with the banner, and the chick looks cool, like a young Luna Vachon, badass, and it looks good. It looks like a good little dojo of shooters. I thought that was a cool fucking thing, kind of like an American Top Team wrestling version. It works. Then we MSK fucking says something. I don't know. Cuckoo, choo-choo-choo. They make some stupid noises. This
is the hit everybody's music portion of the show.
Yeah.
So we get grizzled young veterans. Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams.
Yeah,
and Briggs Jensen, the either a country group or a tag team. I'm not sure.
But I like this because it made me flash back to like when I was first starting out with the Insurgency and Rob Conway had come back down. And dude, Conway built that OVW tag division in like 4 to 6 weeks with Los Locos. We had DK and Lowry. There's a lot of like moving parts in there, and this kind of reminded me of that, of like, let's just get a stage picture of babies and heels, high ground, low ground. I thought it was pretty good. So but yeah, it makes me laugh of like, there's the country guy, there's the British guys, there's the fucking these gimmicks. But it outlined the stage picture going forward, what was coming next. But yeah, a lot of music drops. MSK, they're pretty marginalized here, man. Like, they were over in fucking Impact. Now I get the money and security and where you want to go, but like the work they were doing there, like with the stoner stuff or the vignettes, they would steal the show with how good their work is. Here, it's kind of like, forgettable.
Well, they don't. Again, they're victims of not getting TV time every week, so that's either because they keep getting sick or they keep pissing somebody off.
Yeah, I guess, man. They're great in the ring, and they're fucking more seasoned on TV than most people they have on their roster, so I don't know why you wouldn't use them the right way. Mackenzie Mitchell's backstage with Raquel Gonzalez, says Frankie Monet's a good opponent, but she's not overlooking her, but she's about to be added to the list of victims. Then Toxic Attraction walks by and rolls their eyes at Gonzalez. So one chick with super orange hair, I don't know who she is, dressed like
that's Priscilla Kelly.
Of course it is. Of course
she famously did that spot on the indie show where she put the tampon in that dude's mouth.
Oh, great. So she throws a rose at at Raquel Gonzalez. Then a girl dressed like Ducky from the John Hughes film walks by and scoffs. And then a dark-haired, Bret Hart, greasy-haired Mandy Rose walks in and says the title look great on her. You can really see the difference in Mandy Rose's polished performance compared to everybody else in this scene because she's been up on the road and directed more, and their kids trying to get it. Not that, man, it's a great performance, but she's been a heel as the sexy chick before, and it's good with all eyes on her. It works. Then we get Toxic Attraction versus Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. I was expecting a shitter, man. I don't know if they're practicing this match like 5 or 6 times in practice and they got it wired, but they had this match pretty wired, dude. Compared to how green the girls were in the opener, the pin drill in this, the high spots to the outside. I did pop when Io Shirai missed the fucking moonsault, which she didn't even need to do. By the way, somebody could have cut her off. But she like barely touches him, and she stands up and goes, "Yeah!" I love it. Like, there's no better. Like, that's such a man beast fucking thing to do to me. You know what I mean? So that made me laugh. But all 4 of these girls can wrestle, man. I was impressed. I was expecting the 2, girls for Toxic Attraction to just kind of be bump fodder for the other 2 who are more athletic, but they all went back and forth. This showed like, hey, we're doing this in practice this week, and you're going to put it in your motherfucking match. So whoever agented that and whoever's coaching practice, I was pretty impressed with the strikes, the technical wrestling, the high spots, the selling. I think Zoe Stark is a great worker, like not like woman's worker. I think she's got the natural athletic ability to do almost anything you want. I'm not sure gimmick wise what she needs to do to get over, but in ring, she's very competent. All of them were. I like this match, but in the end, Jesus Christ, who wins? Oh, it was Io Shirai and Zoe Stark because Shirai goes to the top rope, hits the moonsault gimmick for the second time. So that was the main reason why I was like, not like, honey, you don't got to do the big high spot to the outside, but you're winning with it. So she should have cut her off so we didn't get it twice, because doing to the outside is more impressive than fucking doing it in the ring. So Rip would say the threat of violence is just as important as the violence itself. So get up there, tease it, cut her off because you're giving it to them, and the go home, they'll pop bigger because they didn't pop as big as they would because they already saw it earlier.
Fair enough. I didn't really take too many notes on this. I just noted that it was pretty one-sided. It was almost it was like the most glorified, respectful squash match I've seen in a long time.
Right. They kept them alive. They kept them alive at the right times in the hot tag. And there was a lot of, this was a great match for tape trader masturbators who are hitting pause.
I was saying instead more so the baby faces where they just beat the heels up, beat them up, and then pinned them. So like, that's not normally how you do it, but I don't care. If that's what you want to do, go ahead and do that. But, I mean, I'm glad you liked it. Don't really have any notes, though. As far as Zoe Stark is concerned, she's pretty new, but what she has that's hard for a lot of people to get, men or women, but especially women, is that other gear. Like, I feel like she can kick into that other gear, whereas a lot of them look like they're underwater just going through their run-throughs, you know? So if you can get that other gear, the rest of the shit can fall into place eventually on its own or get coached into you.
I agree. We get a vignette from Braun Breaker, and he says, if you want a friend, go, he don't give a shit, get a dog.
I wanted to be his friend.
Because his goal is to be NXT champ. He tells Tommaso that he's not a patient guy. And the vignette, good charisma, dialed up there. I think there's definitely money on this guy. I'd like to see some different looks and monologues of what I could bring out of him. But yeah, a good intensity and a good look.
So this is your first look at Rick Steiner Jr. I'm not going to call him whatever they call him ever, but so you got to set eyes on him. You've already given your evaluation. Now here's what I'm thinking. We know that the WWE is not averse to doing anything with dolls, and also coming up soon in October, we've got the Chucky series coming out on USA Sci-Fi. Now, do you think that old Junior here is going to carry over the feud that his dad had from back in Halloween Havoc in WCW? Is this guy getting pushed to the moon simply to take on one of the most iconic horror figures of all time in some sort of a deal?
Dude, there's never been a better time than now to rib that. And like the week before Halloween, if that's premiering, I would do one thing where it's like that with Chucky, like looking for him, and Chucky gets close. It's all from Chucky's point of view. And then Braun Breaker, he comes in, and Braun Breaker just fucking punts him. like that's all it needs to be. You know what I mean? Oh, fuck. And like Braun Breaker over. Like that's like, yeah, Chucky's a killer and a doll, but Braun Breaker will fucking punch your motherfucking ass, man. I didn't even really know that he was the kid of them, but the fact that he's
really?
I knew he got signed, but I didn't know that was the dude.
Okay, so you didn't put it together because he sound like now that you know that, if you hear the next time you hear him, you'll be like, oh my god, he sounds just like him.
Okay, well then here's the big mistake: is why are we calling him Braun Breaker, bro? Like let's get the legacy over. You didn't bring Randy Orton in and call him something else. He's fucking Randy.
They would today.
Yeah, but that's a huge mistake, man. Like the Steiner legacy is all right there, and the money is him versus fucking Baby Bulldog. You got nothing for Harry Smith. Either tag them together or fucking have the feud, bro. Like that's where your next generation is. Why are we fucking around wasting time with a stupid name like Braun Breaker?
Good question. But it's not the first time. So yeah. I don't know. Well, whatever they need to do to sort that out, they should do it. Oddly enough, his name is, I guess, Braun. I guess it's technically Braun because his first name is Bronson, I believe, his birth name. So at least that part is real, but no one's name is Breaker. No one, and if it was, it wouldn't have two Ks in it. It's just one of those things that they have to trademark that because they can't trademark the word breaker. So they got to throw extra consonants in there to make sure they own it. But yeah, I don't know. Supposedly I heard something about, like the Steiners own the Steiner name, but that's not a good enough excuse because I'm sure they'd be willing to do a favor for their son / nephew. Like, I don't think it would be that big of a deal. Just cut him a small check. Take the money that you made from releasing all those people and just give the Steiner brothers a check and let the kid use the name.
What the fuck? Now, like, forget about use the name. Like, the money is having the Steiners on your show in the right capacity. Like how you got Tully and Arn over there, bro. Like, Steiners could be in on this, no doubt, and even helping out. You could see, instead of Big Papa Pump, Big Bad Booty Daddy, that's a fucking invitation for him to reinvent himself. You know what I mean? And really fucking look like a coach of this dude, and the brothers working together for one more run to do something. Like, there's value there. Like, there's tune-in nostalgia value. There's new story and history value, and we're not even going to fucking scratch the surface. You get one chance to make a first impression. All this should be figured in from the jump before we start building this guy and how we can do it to elevate the experience for the audience, man.
Dude, they don't give a fuck about any of that. I mean, we're just talking what seems like the layup, but you got to remember who we're dealing with here.
You're right. Now, I guess now that I look at it, aside from all the history and everything I laid out, Bronson Breaker, the name does look better. They're right. They got it again.
Yeah, 100%.
Boa versus Chase Anderson. Out comes Tian Sha with Boa and Mei Ying. Boa walks the ring. Ying walks right behind him back to commercial. Then we get Ciampa doing at his at-home gym with the belt, saying that was a cute vignette, yada yada yada, and saying I liked when he goes, "We won't put your name just in the Hall of Fame just yet, but we'll see." That you know, I'm down with Ciampa. He's old school OVW, and that guy's worked his fucking ass off to go from a skinny manager of Oxen Hammer to a fucking as jacked as you possibly can be, and champ, dude. Even though he stole my beard gimmick, it's whatever. I won't tax him.
He stole it from Kratos from God of War too. But if I mean, it's so crazy to think he did a complete 180. He was doing like the effeminate gimmick when he was in OVW with us.
It was anger management.
Yeah. It wasn't even that, right? Like I just remember him doing just like a plain, boring gay gimmick, and he called himself the Tommaso, and
that's when he wrestled. But when he was like kind of like an Erwin R. Shyster for Oxen Hammer, and he'd have a book with him and like suspended.
Oh yeah,
he'd like
that too.
Yeah, so and then did he wrestle as like Starman under the mask too for a while?
That I don't remember.
Yeah, I think he was for a bit.
But let's talk about this for a second, because it's the formatting that we see all the time, where someone will come out for an entrance and then it's fuck all that. Let's go to a backstage thing. Then let's go to a vignette.
I cut a huge promo of this on Russo brand just yesterday, Matt. Yeah. There's
well, you've done it before too, because I listen to you every week and you always say the same things, like about the things that they keep doing wrong. I'm not saying you're repeating yourself. I mean, they're repeating yourself, and you have to keep calling it out, because you just have to keep plugging away and hope that somebody finally gets sick of hearing you say it and changes it for whatever reason. But yeah, I don't like that. It's like you don't trust. I know we live in a short attention span theater type of world, but you have to trust that the people aren't going to get bored within the space of two people's entrances.
You're leaving your talent out there to hang in front of the audience too, which is taking the shine off them, instead of being in the moment of like, now we got to come back and then I got to hype them again. Like, that's a terrible fucking thing to do to your talent.
And even if it's taped, it still looks awkward as a viewer.
Yes.
So maybe just don't do it, but
they do it 3 times a fucking week. Dude, really, Chase kicks the shit out of Boa in this, only to then powder out of the ring and get fucking misted by Mei Ling there, and fucking feeds back in, eats the big fucking Snabit's from this guy Boa, who's pretty impressive physical specimen, man, no doubt. Mm-hmm. And then he fucking hits him with the sit out Michinoku gimmick and pin for the win while he hooks the fucking leg and salutes or what have you to fucking evil voodoo Chinese god. But Boa is up
for the first time. He's never won a match before.
Really? Well,
and he's gotten beat up by women and everything. He's basically, his gimmick is that he's a loser, and that's why he was kidnapped and brainwashed and forced into this cult because he's embarrassing China. So he kind of like, but now Zaya's not there. Like, Zaya's doing dark matches on Raw and shit like that, and she's not here, but she was like the centerpiece of this whole thing. So I don't know. But it's weird because she does. I saw some fan footage on one of her Instagram stories where the fan took this footage of one of these dark matches, and Zaya comes out with her full like evil look, but then she's kind of a babyface in the match, but she's doing the evil entrance. So it's just like they don't have any idea who these characters are, what they're doing, what their role is. It's just a general problem, miscasting all around. Like, people are they used to come from NXT hand delivered with gimmicks, music, character, everything, and then it's just for whatever reason they're like, nope, none of that. We're going to do this. Oh, why aren't you getting over? You know what? It's time for you to go back down. Like, that's the kind of shit that we've been getting for the past 5 years. And this is another instance of where they've got an idea. You can say whether you think it's corny, whether you think it's cool, whatever, but they're committing to this. And they're investing TV time in this. They've invested a lot of TV time in this. And then they take away like the main person to get the work over, Zaya. Just have her doing random dark tags, even not even singles, dark tags. Take the guy that was just supposed to be like the side, the side attraction, and make him the, sort of like the main attraction a little bit. Just weird.
They got a big chair though.
Oh, well, I mean, they've had the big chair. That was probably one of Triple H's repurposed chairs. So Andre Chase now, the former Harlem Bravado. Can you imagine a guy like that going up to you and introducing himself as Harlem? I said that joke last week. I don't think Ray got it. He was probably like looking up something on the internet when I was talking, but he like I said, can you imagine introducing yourself as Harlem Bravado to a guy that looks like Odyssey Jones? Like, yeah, I'm Harlem Bravado. Nice to meet you. Like, yeah, fuck you. But he's doing the Dean Douglas gimmick now. And it works because he really is smart. He figured out that you don't have to like work out or take B12 or drink Florida water. All you need to do is just wear a sweater to add upper body mass. And it's just instant extra size. It's great. But then again, maybe he isn't that smart because he rolls immediately into the ring after getting smoked. So I know that's the first thing I do when I'm blind is I like go toward the man that was beating me up to save me, right? So I don't know about him either way.
Yeah. But I wore that because I do like the Theta Lambda Psi gimmick. But dude, you can't be a fucking like 1950s Letterman. You gotta have stooges. Like, if you're gonna be Biff Tannen or whatever, you gotta have the whatever. This guy's a smart guy. I love the professor, Gavin Garrison. We got to write that gimmick and do it because the guy's such a high level performer and just got it and is very intellectual. And this guy later, he's doing walkthroughs, and I liked his walkthrough. But I should have been a disqualification, but he shouldn't be saying that's bullshit. Like, if anybody should have a higher vernacular where he has so many synonyms for swear words where he can insult people at a high level without ever having to go blue. That's his whole gimmick, not being triggered and swearing like a common sailor, like.
Well, that is, I see. Well, again, now that I agree with that there now. Don't take this as me defending the creative. Don't do that. But let me just play a little devil's advocate where I see they can go another direction because, again, out of context, last week you did not see his vignette where he's teaching class for wrestlers and somebody questions one of his teachings basically burying him for losing a match. Like, why didn't you win the breakout tournament or something like that? And then he'd cuss the kid out and cuss words that you had to bleep because you're not allowed to say them. So he was clearly saying "fuck you, you motherfucker," but they're beeping it. So they're playing the Jekyll and Hyde of I'm an educated, intelligent man, but now I'm going to get down to base caveman level whenever I get pissed off or whatever. I'm not saying it's better or good. I'm just saying that that's probably what they're thinking.
The game is established. I'm glad you told me that, so I understand what they want to do it because it's not wrong. It's just a different choice. Now, if that's the game we're going to play out, how do we heighten and explore that? I'm smart. One trigger. What the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and that's where they're going. The problem is though, like when they realize that now on cable television they have that room to play with a lot of the language because, you know, and some people don't know there's no FCC regulations for cable broadcast. So technically they can say whatever they want. The problem is the advertisers don't like it. So that's who you're really
no, dude, because I remember this too, because I was like, why are we in the TV fucking PG era with this shit? I think USA told them they wanted sexy and fucking badass shit to be like, go for it, bro. And so maybe now they're actually starting to be like, yeah, dude, let's you know.
But it's not swearing in and of itself doesn't draw any money. So what it comes off as, especially with AEW, it's like, you remember when you were a kid and your parents didn't allow you to swear, and then eventually you got to a certain age, and then I'm not saying maybe this is exactly true, but a lot of people can kind of relate to your parents saying, watch your language, and then at some certain age they just don't care anymore, and then you go a little bit overboard because you can finally cuss in front of your parents and you say things that you would normally need to swear about, but you're so excited to finally get to do it. And that's exactly what that's exactly what AEW is. They're just like, oh, we can say shit, or we're going to say it all the time now. And it seems like a little bit forced. And, you know, some of the people in the chat are calling me out like, I don't mind it. I don't mind. It was like, look, I don't have any fucking problem with motherfuckers swearing as much as they fucking want. That's not the issue. The issue is
the right
just doing it is not that. Right. That's never going to make any money. And for the average person, or for, you know, most of this country that's still uptight and religious in all these red states, they're still going to look at that and be like, well, this isn't very wholesome in family values. And they're going to look at it like that's going to turn more people off than it brings in.
Take that shit to BYU and fuck off. We get another video from the honeymoon of Indy Hartwell, Dexter Loomis, Chancellor Ray, and Gargano are talking about Index are headed to their hotel room. What could go wrong now? Gargano gets a maid to open the room for him, says he lost the key. In a believable little scene with a maid. Gargano goes in and goes through the suitcases, but when he turns the corner, he goes, terrible security in this hotel. Like, those are the little John Candy, Steve Martin, Chevy Chase type lines that I'm like, good. So we're not just doing that. You know, we're making fun of the actual how easy that was. I like that shit. He goes through Indy's underwear, and then he finds a long package of condoms. Indy and Dexter enter the room. Gargano takes a bump on the bed for no reason, and I thought he was going to do the bit where he goes under the bed and they start banging on top of it. Instead, he goes into the closet, and we get all this sexy sounds, but it's just a weird pillow fight between Dexter and Indy. So it was the TV PG version, and they could have done a sex scene in a show don't tell kind of way where we just see Gargano's face in the bed bouncing, and maybe and then you could cut back and they might just be jumping on the bed. But, you know, Gargano could have been taking the bumps in a very John Candy, kind of way underneath the bed. But in the end, Indy's ready for a nap after the big pillow fight, and she puts her head on Loomis's shoulders. Gargano comes out of the closet. Loomis doesn't give a shit that he's been Jim Cornetting him the whole time, and fucking and then gives him a little what's his name, Warren Cassidy thumbs up, and then pulls out a whole fucking ring of condoms out of his robe in a perfect show don't tell button on the scene. I laughed out loud. It was a fucking great take. He doesn't need to say anything. The best acting we do is when we say nothing at all. And he was playing this weird part of the scene, and he nailed the out on it, bro. And it was very funny. And it was John Hughes who I was trying to think of earlier, the director. And this feels like all that to me.
Okay. I knew that you were kind of going in the John Hughes direction, but the only movie that you mentioned was the Boombox one, which is saying anything.
I can't remember. Yeah.
Cameron Crowe.
He does the same shit too. They're both, in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. I thought it was very funny. NXT Cruiserweight title match: Grayson Waller versus Roderick Strong. Man, fucking A. This Grayson Waller guy goes balls to the walls, huh, man? And style points. When he's hitting poses midair, they come back and do the slow-mo while he drops the elbow. I'm not sure why he's in boxing gear. But, okay.
Yes, he's a boxer, you see, but he opens with a dive.
Yeah, classic boxing dives. Really, Waller is it's back and forth with a little chain, but Waller's out high spotting Roderick almost the whole match. Couple of good strong kickouts on two off that flying elbow and some other things. And then duck one, turn around, eat my fake Kenny Omega flying knee, and you're knocked out for Roderick Strong for the win. I thought this was a good, athletic, interesting match, and Roddy can work with anybody. I look at Roderick Strong, it reminds me a lot of not Morrison, but Eminem, fucking Joey Mercury.
Mercury?
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of Merc, bro. Like a bit when I see his footwork, the way he looks and works. And Mercury's a fucking great worker too. I just don't know, is there a spot main roster for a guy like Roderick Strong, or can this Diamond Mine gimmick with the manager get over at that next level? I don't know. They just seem. I'm not trying to shit on them, but I just don't see it getting over. It just looks indie to me. It looks ROH.
I think that, well, first of all, look, anything can get over if they just keep drilling it into people's heads. But
that's true.
Are they going to? No. Also, again, to the point of, what if you want to bring the Diamond Mine, which is supposed to be some sort of legitimate outfit, up to Raw where you got supernatural dolls on it. Is that going to be another, conflict of interest there? So I feel like it's too sports based for what they really want to do, which is if they
had something set up that wasn't like, obviously you'd have to go a whole different way because it's so stupid what they've done with Riddle. But if they did have a shooters crew, like those guys I was talking about earlier, Oni Lorcan, Cesaro, Riddle, I mean, there's a lot of guys you could put in this who are like the Raw Underground thing would have worked.
All that stuff writes itself, even if you don't want to put them in the group. But it's like, why wouldn't the Diamond Mine go to Riddle and like, why are you acting like a clown? Why don't you get with us and really do something? Right. He's like, no way, bro. I can't leave Randy, like that kind of thing. Like, and then you just, instead of joining them, you just fight them. And then whatever. It's the most easy thing. You don't even really have to put any effort into it.
Right.
But they avoid those sort of like naturally occurring, alliances and opposing forces. Like they don't just let the show write itself sometimes when you've got all these people. Or I was like, you mean to tell me all these people are in the same building and nothing's happening?
Right.
They only talk to each other when they have to go out to the ring with a microphone in their hand, or you know what I mean? Like
they're making
you bump. There was a misunderstanding last week. I can't text you or call you all week, but I'm going to wait until I see you in the ring on TV to discuss it with you. So I mean, Roderick Strong is a guy who he can work with anybody. He's also one of those guys that's small and refuses to accept it. So also like Joey Mercury, he's going to throw guys around that are 100 pounds heavier than him because he's more over. So that's just one of those things. It's like when people see that, like it doesn't matter if you don't agree with anything else they think. When some of those old school agents or a Vince McMahon or Bruce, even Bruce Pritchard or whatever, when they see guys doing that, they're like, this kid's a mark. So fuck him. And that's the thing. Like, one of the biggest problems I have right now across the board is guys that refuse to acknowledge that they're small and to work like it. There's nothing wrong with being Adam Cole as long as you're not like throwing guys around left and right or making them bump off clotheslines and shit. It's just figure out a creative way to work around the situation that you're given.
Great advice there for sure. But in the end, they said fuck that, and it's us up strong with a flying knee. Mackenzie is backstage with LA Knight. Yeah, dummy. She asked if if he's ready for a match with Odyssey Jones on next week's show. Knight says he doesn't look like a punk, but he's looks like the uncrowned NXT champion. Takes a shot at Jones, says he has 1 week to learn very hard lessons. Jones, out of nowhere, 2 feet away, walks in the shot. I don't know how LA Knight didn't see him because he's only fucking 6'8", 440 pounds. Whatever. It seems like it's going to be buddy enough, and then LA Knight turns heels on him, beats the fuck out of him, leaves him on the ground. Dude,
this is where Chase, Andre Chase walked in and said, "This is bullshit." By the way, this is that spot.
Yeah, that's it. So, which I did laugh at, but I was like, wrong game. But now that I know the game, it makes sense.
Here's a situation, Ben. I'll step in for this one. Here's a situation where you got two guys that don't need to lose right now, and you're putting them together. They have jobbed LA Knight into the ground since he's been there. I think he's won a grand total of 2 matches.
Last time I was watching him, he was working with $1 Million Man and Grimes. What the fuck happened to the big push off of that?
Went nowhere. He got beat up by in the debut NXT 2.0 episode, they had Steiner Jr. go over him, and then he had a 4-way match for the vacant championship later that Tommaso ended up winning. So he lost twice in one night. LA Knight did.
Good stuff.
Right. Yeah. The one guy you would think that a sports entertainment company would look at and be like, well, obviously this guy is clearly just, he's admittedly just all he did was watch The Rock and Stone Cold and said, yeah, that's me. And then wrapped it up into a package. So you would think they want to do something with him, but who knows? Maybe thinking that you could be The Rock and Stone Cold wrapped up into one human being gets you heat too. Maybe you can't do anything right in the WWE's eyes. Maybe that. But what I do know is that it's too early for Odyssey Jones to be getting beat by a guy like this that's done nothing but lose, and it's another loss that is just piling onto LA Knight that he doesn't need. So why are you putting them together? Unless you're going to do some fuck finish where nobody wins, but that's not very satisfying. And then what's the point of that? You have another match, or do you just split off? If you're going to split off, why'd you do this in the first place? There's just too many questions that don't have any good answers here.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I'm back from Jamaica, so I'm trying to be positive as I can.
Don't do it, Ben.
I think LA Knight I liked a shit out of Eli Drake, man. And he got over because Ken Anderson fucked up his push in Impact. And then LA Knight took over the spot, or Eli Drake, and that's how that was kind of born. And this guy came through FCW, so he was already completely WWE trained. As well. Did he tag with Brian Cage, I think, right? And it was managed by Paul Bearer, maybe. But anyway, this Rock, this isn't even like, it's an impersonation. It's not even his own thing. Like, good artists create, great artists steal and make it their own. And yeah, he took from Rock, Stone Cold, and Flair in Impact, but it would still be a little bit of his own thing. He just did the Rock's whole promo on this, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, I impersonate Vince every week, but you don't catch Ben Hamin or this infidel character I had to invent talking like that fucking all the time, man. Like, that's gonna make guys on the main roster go, "What the fuck is he doing, bro?" Like that. That's like showing up with a Brahma Bull tattoo on your arm.
This is his second trip through their program too, so it's not like they don't know who he is.
Right. Like, dude.
But at some point in the recent past, Triple H was like, yeah, I think we could do something with him. And now it's kind of like this is his
The only
career.
thing you do with him off of this is a massive head injury where he thinks he's the Rock. Like when he looks in the mirror, he sees the Rock. He really believes he is the Rock. When there's a new movie coming out, he promotes it and talks about it like the Rock. In his mind, he is the Rock. That's all you could do on the main roster is have a massive identity crisis where he's broken. And then the Rock shows up. They have to bring the Rock in for an intervention to show that he's not, but he thinks he's just looking and talking to himself. Or it's his twin brother separated at birth. Like that.
Yeah.
That's that promo. That's how much of a knockoff that was. And I was like, God damn, this guy's got real talent and can deliver. Why would you do that? Because anybody main roster who's watching that is going, whoop, okay, that's what you want. Yeah.
It's not that new, Ben. If you really now, knowing what you know now, if you were to go back and watch old Impact, you'd be like, oh my God, it was there the whole time.
Oh, no, I knew it was there. Now, like, it was at least a combination of the three. Last night was a straight up impersonation, in my opinion, bro. And that guy's got more that guy's got more chops than that. And the reason why I encourage my actors to do hip hop and fucking wrestling promos from other people or even anything else, what are we taking from them? Oh, I've unlocked something in myself. Yeah, I can do the voice. My voice might not naturally be like that, but now I know I can do that. Or that emotion that is not naturally me when I impersonate that. What does that feel like to me? Okay, now I have to take that and put my spin on it, not just take it and redo it, like rehash it. So that was, I don't know, to me, weird. Back from the break, we get Dante Chen, who defeated Trey Baxter last week. Chen says he represents the spirit of Singapore and its people, and he plans on making his own path in NXT. His motto is passion, precision, and perseverance. The 3 Ps, much like the 3 Is. Chen says his journey has just begun. Well, take the pebble from my hand, grasshopper. Trey Baxter, Cora Jade backstage now. They do a weird kiss scene, and she's 20 years old, and someday she hopes that it'll be the House of Jade, whatever. Good luck. The announcer sent 20 years old signed. On TV. Give me a fucking break. The announcer sent us the pre-recorded segment with Lash Legend, speaking out with Lash Legend. And I'm like, what is this shit going to be? Fucking, it felt very in living color to me, but y'all didn't hear that from me. But then she puts herself over because of the draft and that she got 27 rebounds in one SEC game, which is an impressive stat, but I'm going, that other team sucks. You're getting them, let them shoot that much and they're bricking. Then she shows herself getting WNBA drafted, and it ups the stakes. So right away, we know we're dealing with an NCAA and a pro athlete. But this is an entertainment segment. So I'm going, wow, okay. I like that we're presenting the athlete and showing the entertainment side in a spilling the tea scoops thing. Then she goes and buries a couple of the women and puts over the sexy Asian guy. I like the little crowd action. And here's the other thing. They're out of the fucking arena. We're on location at a little comedy club that they probably practice improv at and doing this. And she's dressed up and it worked. It absolutely worked, in my opinion. Was it a little amateur? Sure. But do I expect the NCAA athlete, pro basketball player, to be a pro entertainer? No, because I'm not hitting as many 3-pointers or fucking doing crossovers. So she can do what I can't on the court, but I can do what she can do, on the mic a lot better. So this was a good kickoff. I was entertained by this, Matt.
Amateur, yes. Less so because of her performance and more so because of this setting. Is there any reason why we couldn't actually recreate what something looks like a talk show? The only thing, this is like the WWE's version of something, like it always is. The only thing missing from it was an unironed backdrop. Okay, that's the only thing that needed to be truly WWE. But like, why couldn't you do just like get the extras, get some lighting, make it look like the Wendy Williams show, and just do that? Like, why can't you just exactly recreate that with the same speed film, like the same lighting, the same look and everything, and then make her feel like she's somebody? This makes me feel like the people aren't even in the room because you just hear it like a laugh track.
Right.
It's just cheap. It's lazy.
What was the Joel Hale, the Talk Soup type show?
The Talk Soup, yeah.
Like it could look like that, and that's just
yeah.
Somebody's got to iron the green screen. I mean, that's what we got to get.
Yeah.
That.
Well, we don't want to ask for the world, Ben. Let's just one step at a time. But I mean, I just don't see why you couldn't have put more effort into this. If you're trying to sell this like you're an entertainment company and not a wrestling company, then fucking entertain me. Do things that other people do on the level that they do it. And then show that you can do this a variety of different things just as well as anybody else. I mean, they're always putting themselves over about how great they are, however many Twitter followers they have, or whatever bullshit metrics they want to when all the important ones are going down. Why can't you recreate the Wendy Williams talk show set?
And I think she shouldn't have showcased the Asian dude as the hot man. Like she should have shown Big E. Like she should have shot for like a top. You know what I mean? Like an ongoing joke. Like remember, even though she's super butch lesbian, when Rosie O'Donnell would go try and put over Tom Cruise all the time, she should shoot some for the highest guy in the fucking. You know what I mean? Ridge Holland versus Kyle O'Reilly. We go back to the ring, and out comes Ridge Holland with Pete Dunne. Kyle O'Reilly attacks them both. Whatever. This match was like for me at the end because the business doesn't get over because they don't want Kyle O'Reilly to take a loss. I don't know why. So he gets the pin out of nowhere, roll up pretty much. Another fucking big shot, and then right away heels are right back on him to get their heat back. So the pin don't fucking mean nothing. So
this is a thing that you're seeing a lot lately if you're paying attention, where they have somebody get rolled up and then they just go and beat the shit out of the guy that rolls them up. And it's like, if it was that easy, why'd you let him roll you up? Shouldn't you have just killed him from the start? So I don't really agree with the whole roll up and get your heat back thing, because you end up looking bad anyways. But the real exciting part of this, though, is that we had one Ridge jump by another Ridge, because this guy's cranial ridge is outrageous. What do you think of Von Wagner? Ben, this is your first look at Von Wagner, who is somebody's son. Chat, whose son is it while Ben talks about it?
It pops me because here comes a big man to clean house named Von, and all I can think of is Von Lilas, and I would have used it the exact same way. Hatsa, daddy. And to clear the ring, but then he turns around and he looks like Brad J with long hair to me. So I'm like, we got Brad J and Von Lilas' illegitimate love child here to clear the ring, guys. It just makes me laugh how generationally old we are now that to watch these kids do it. And there's that gimmick and there's that guy that I would just say, oh, there goes the guy from my generation, and they're doing it this way. So yeah, dude, this guy definitely could be a Geico caveman, and I don't know, like it worked. He's a big intimidating fucker. I wouldn't want him to headbutt me.
Okay. Well, the chat was too slow. So it's his name is Cal Bloom. He's Wayne Bloom's son. Okay. You'll remember Wayne Bloom from the he's the guy from the Minnesota Wrecking Crew that's not Mike Enos. Right. The other guy. Spaceman just in time with the stats. Sorry, beat you, Spaceman. A little slow on the draw there, buddy. So this is not as over of a guy as a Rick Steiner, perhaps, but another tag team specialist. I also don't remember his cranial ridge being this protruding, but then again, maybe it's some of that Florida water.
Yeah, probably could be a little HG Triple H. Then we get my favorite promo of the night and a shocker.
I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this.
Get the cancel culture racism, but fuck that, because October 1st, Saints in Newark drops the Sopranos prequel, David Chase Spectacular. And we got a new character, a new mob guy coming, Tony D'Angelo.
Hey, forget about it.
My family has made a couple dollars off of this stock right here, things that came off the truck. But don't worry about it. If I get a call to go push a button on a guy, I got to go push a button on a guy. But
oh man, you just accidentally did a better promo than him on just sitting there rubbing your head, man. That's too bad.
My Uncle Vito says nobody takes too much off the top. Oh, FBI. He'll debut next week.
Nothing's gonna top that first vignette he had with the music and everything. It's just, and we like Ray and I roasted him. We spent the whole a good portion of the episode just laughing about it. We spent a good portion of last week's episode just making Tony D'Angelo references all throughout it. There's something about an Italian guy that just makes you want to make fun of him. I don't know what it is, but and the chat roasted him too. Like, we've all been having a lot of fun with Tony D'Angelo, and he's gonna make his debut next week. And I might have a guy myself to come on next week and discuss Tony D'Angelo. I may have a guy.
He might not. He better not be no Fugazi on Next Level 2.0. Oh
no.
But yeah, man. I hope it takes off for Big Vito. Big Sal's down a lot in weight, being real healthy, man. I'm super proud of him. I hope Nunzio and or Nunio, if you will, and Mama Luke are all get together, man. I hope the Sopranos thing does huge biz for the FBI, man. I was so honored to be able to get to work with them, and then obviously have Big Sal turn on him. That was fucking phenomenal for me. And then here's this guy, another guy. I got another guy over here, another guy. D'Angelo, man, and why not bring in Big Vito and those guys to give him the rub, bro? We don't got to do the full.
Well, we know why, but I mean, but nonetheless,
why not, man? Like, if it's gonna,
because look who it is. That's why. It's nothing against the guys you want to bring in. It's against the guys who's trying to not bring them in.
Yeah. But shout out to those guys. Subscribe to Big Vito's Patreon. You guys join the Big Vito Mafia, and I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of fun this month with the Big Sopranos debut. This guy over with me, bro. I got to write for Al Barone, right? And Al Barone's a different version of this. Al Barone's more Luca Brasi, right? Like the big hitter, the debt collector for Rip Rogers. Come out, give you a one and done punch, take your shoes off. I'd have him hit the black and white on there in post production, and we'd put on Godfather theme, and out comes Al. Forget about it. And a man of business, M-O-B. He should take that, you know. And see what he did, dude. Even at Al's age, Al could come in and play Luca Brasi for this guy if he wanted to, and just be an arm breaker or wrist breaker. You don't even got to see it. Just Al closes in on a guy, you hear somebody scream, and the next thing they're coming back with a fucking broken hand, right? Like it's that easy. But you know me, man.
If I'm a publicly traded company, I'll hire an obvious mobster to be in my developmental wrestling program, along with my evil ancient Chinese warlord and all this other stuff.
We're gonna have the Yakuza versus the fucking Japanese mafia versus the Somali pirates. It's gonna be a fucking great year for all versus Death Row Records. It's gonna be a big war. Big war.
Factions, pal.
Oh yeah. NXT Women's Title match: Frankie Moniz versus Raquel Gonzalez. She comes out, shows how jacked her back is. And then out comes Monet with the whole entourage looking like a Madonna video from 1992. The bell rings, they lock up, yada yada, back and forth power. Both these girls are super impressive in my opinion physically. I like the Marilyn Monroe look and kind of updated for Monet. I hopefully that they'll one day put her with Morrison and do what they should have done a long time ago. But in the end, really, it's a big power, like a spinning power bomb, one arm sit out gimmick. And I felt bad because I took this bump too when I took the rock bottom a couple weeks ago. I went to my left hip, after being bumped out, and Monet did too, bro. And I bet she's going to be feeling that for a month because after you do that and your spine gets jarred sideways, and then you go travel or go do whatever you do for the next week, you're all jacked up, man, until you get straightened back out again, and it takes a bit. So that bump hurt me just watching it on that big finish. But in the end, it's Raquel Gonzalez up strong on that one, man. After the match, Gonzalez stands tall, their music hit, and Stone and Monet and Camilla regroup. Out comes Toxic Attraction, and they get heat on Raquel Gonzalez. I don't know why they would do that, because they just lost in the tag match and look weak. And Mandy Rose was sitting on her ass at the end of that. So why would we think they're intimidating to come out here now to Wolfpacker? This was shotgun business on the end that didn't belong there. Should have been Champ Up Strong over Frankie Monet. That's a big win for her, and from someone who's been established on Impact TV, and a good get over. Don't step on that moment. Just go off there.
Yeah, a few notes here. Number one, no entrance for Frankie. That's a bad sign.
Yeah,
this was a marquee match. It's been promoted. It got pushed back. It's got delayed, and they made it a main event here. But I think they have different ideas.
Stop it right there, because no Morrison the last 3 weeks on TV. No Morrison. Is he hurt? I don't know. No entrance, Frankie Monet. Is there Morrison heat, and is that heat by association to fuck with them? Like, super hypothetical, 2% chance, but
sure. Well, it's definitely a chance. It's higher than 2% too. But
okay. I just wanted to be kind.
Yeah. I don't know. I see, like, I don't have anything against these people as people. I see something just a little bit different. Frankie and Johnny, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Right.
They kind of, like, at this stage, I don't take any pleasure in saying this, but just on the surface level, it seems to me like this is like a couple of aging rock stars or something that just don't belong anymore.
But to me, it's what the fuck's his name from the Doors, man?
Jim Morrison.
Jim Morrison. Yeah, I mean,
the whole thing that his gimmick was built on.
Yeah, right. Well, all I could think of was John. I was like, what the fuck is, and she is, even the Guerra Loca thing is kind of not played out. It's part of who she is. I'm not going to say it's not, but like, the fact that she is Marilyn Monroe and looks special and can work like a top pro, like a ready for WrestleMania now pro, why wouldn't you cash in on that? And it is a bit of Grease Lightning, with Travolta and Olivia Newton-John kind of feel as well. They're both sexy. Everybody wants them, and we're not. And the time is slipping away. You're right. We don't want it to become how Jericho looks like the lead singer of Poison or whatever.
Well, yeah. To that point, like, I once was on a flight, and there was this guy that claimed, well, he didn't claim anything, but it was claimed that he was a keyboard player for Heart. And I guess the person that was saying this to whatever flight attendant was talking to them or whatever was his girlfriend. And she had that sort of like, I mean, if you've seen this, I could believe it. The look where this guy's got like the hair that's like ever so slightly frosted but frayed because he's older, and he's super tan, and he's got like one of the Rock's $500 shirts with this weird hippie necklace thing and the jeans and everything like that. I'm like, yeah, he looks like he's a rock star hanging on, and this chick is just like, too tan, skin cracked from all the tanning, bleached hair and unnatural color, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, these people, and he's a keyboard player for Heart, but he's on the same Southwest Airlines flight as me, so it's really sad. He's going to whatever Indian casino will bring them in and play. She's got to put him over so he can, and it's kind of like, that's what I'm seeing. I look at John Morrison, man, he looks fried, and he's got no. Bro, he can't, obviously they're not giving him any material to be passionate about, but like it's I don't know what he was, what he ever thought was going to happen here. He must have just done it for the money. I think
they need to have to partner with one of those, like, I don't even know these shows, so I'm just fucking going off the top of my head, like Couples Island. You guys tell me what the fucking you know what I'm talking about. But you got Killer Cross and his chick, those two, Miz and his wife. You could have Keith Lee, Mia Yim, Johnny and Candice. Are Indian fucking gimmick really together, or is that just in storyline?
She's not even straight.
Okay. Well, there you go. Wait till he finds out about that.
All those condoms going right in the trash.
Yeah, you could have had Adam Cole and Britt Baker, maybe, or any of the other cool kids, but they all need to be a Temptation Island, right? That's what I'm fucking thinking of.
Well, yeah,
along those lines, a whole WWE version, and all the workers would work it to make it look like, oh, he's gonna bang. He banged out his wife or whatever,
Well, so I mean, I'm just looking at it from. She also has the same kind of burnt out look. Like, let's face it, just not sugarcoating it. She's out of shape. She can't go. Her face is pretty still, but everything else, it just looks like that's what they're going to see
that can be done with hard work. And I think,
why hasn't it been done? She's had enough time to get in the shape. She knew where she was going. She know what they expect. She knows what all the stereotypes about that place are and what they expect their women to look like. And she still shows up looking like that and moving like that. And it's not a good.
That's the story for the reality show, instead of trying to create this fucking, we're an art culture of Monet and like,
there's not going to be a reality show because they're just going to look at her and that's going to be their perception of her effort level. So even if she busted her ass just to look that out of shape, they're just going to see the out of shape. They're not going to be interested in anything she's doing. She's going to get buried, and her future's not looking too bright right now. Neither is her husband. So
I mean, I don't know. They got Naya and Dewdrop on the main roster. I don't think they're giving a fuck about.
Because look what they did to them. I mean, they're playing around. It's funny to them now, and when they're done having their fun, when they're done getting their laughs at the fat girls, they'll be back down in NXT before you know it. The thing about Piper is she can work. Nia can't, but Piper can work. So, but they don't care about that. They just want to make her into a joke. Let's have the fat girl jump up and down and dance. Like are you telling me after all the stuff that you've seen in your years here in this business, like you don't see what's going, you know exactly what's going on. It's a rib and they're Japanese. Yeah. It's a rib and they're just not fed up with it yet. So just look for her to be quietly gotten rid of whenever they've had their fun. Same, as for this match specifically, there was too much Raquel early, I think, for the way they wanted this finish to come off. The comeback was weak from Raquel. Yeah. And the finish was flat. So
the finish looked like it hurt like a motherfucker to me. I was like, oh,
yeah, that part definitely. And to your point about those bumps, like you just got to take them. Don't be afraid of them, or you're going to get hurt worse. Just take them the way you always have, and try to mitigate it.
I find myself on those I wasn't thinking about it when I took the rock bottom. Something just switched in me, and it's your body's natural reaction to like bracing yourself for shock, as opposed to being like, I have to be. You know what I mean?
Attack the mat flat, even. Don't fall down in sections.
And I was 12 minutes in, I made it a full 12 before I had to take it back.
Well, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
But
I'd rather you not be in traction overall. So, but don't worry, you'll get that stuff back. That's no problem. But so, like you said, the heels jumped the heels, then they beat up Raquel. And the main takeaway of all this is none of that match mattered. You could tell they didn't care about that. What they really cared about was this is the crowning moment, because after 8 years in this business, 8 long years, Mandy Rose is finally ready to take the developmental title. She's finally ready. She had a whole trip to the main roster with storylines and everything. And in the end, it was all just to come back to here. And you and I have argued in the past and debated about whether NXT is developmental. Well, make no mistake about it. This show, 2.0, this is developmental.
Yeah.
This is not the show that brought in every 39-year-old polished pro from TNA and every promising yet somewhat inexperienced talent from any number of other countries, all the main ones, Japan, Mexico, United Kingdom. Like, they brought in the best that those countries had to offer, and a lot of them have gone on to greater things, even if maybe not in this company. But this is the show that brings in some impressive looking and some skilled athletes and has them do Tuesday Night Titans. That's what this show is, and that is developmental. So it's a whole different ball game than what it was before. And if you considered NXT a developmental brand before, then what the hell must you think of 2.0? Because it's just, to me, it's like a step backwards in a lot of ways as far as like where the future is headed for the business, especially with all the moves that AEW is making to try to get established talent, to get some credibility for their, what started out as an indie outlaw thing. And they're making moves in the right direction. WWE's making moves in the backwards direction. I don't know, man. It's not great. Not great.
To me, I agree with you that it is a step backwards, but I think that's where they needed to go. I think they were lying to themselves and fooling themselves that they were a third brand and da-da-da-da. I think simpler is better, safer, and allows for more time to do fun things that don't matter, that are wrestle crap, like this, the honeymoon thing. Dude, I enjoyed the shit out of that to break up the show. It didn't need to be high level. It just needed to be different and entertaining, and I was with it. Some of the wrestling is super amateur still because they are amateurs, and they are developing. So if you have that on your show, then by default you're developmental. You just have some people that are way more ahead. Some people are going to be in second grade. Some people are going to be in 12th grade. But those who are in 12th grade and have been there for 4 or 5 years need to stop fooling themselves that this is where I want to be with my family in Florida, and start thinking about, I got to get to the main roster now because they look at this place as wrestling college, and I'm not going to be able to stay here for very long. And if I don't have a spot in my mind where I can fit in on the main roster, 2 or 3 of them that I can pitch, then I could be gone from here quicker than I fucking think. And I don't know if some of them have their minds prepared for that shift over from being comfortable there to being clock's running out of my career until I better make a move quick, especially with the draft this week, because other drafts can happen based upon, after just this first one. They usually saying this person went there, that, or the other. So have a couple storylines ready for yourself in your back pocket of how you're going to be able to transition there, or support something that's already going on as a B player and get yourself in that way, because otherwise I'll see you on the indies.
Right. Well, and that'll be fun for you too, as long as you can take a correct bump from them. The thing I've said before that I like about this show, as far as what it's supposed to be as far as TV is concerned, is they're throwing so many things, and if it's good, then it leaves you wanting more, and if it's bad, it doesn't have enough time to stick around before they're on to the next thing. So that is the one thing that they're doing, is they're moving things right along quickly.
And they've got a big chair, Vet.
And they have a big chair, possibly the biggest chair. And I don't think Cody could smash that chair with a hammer. No, let me tell you, I heard he's susceptible to some foreign substances that get spit into his face. So I don't think he wants to
watch out.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to do much of that. But yeah, man, this was I find it a little bit easy to watch, but I'm just shaking my head at because I'm already seeing the future, and it's going to get worse. What was it? What was it called? Somebody in the chat said something. I believe it was Sonic the Hedge Rat said, NXT 2.0 sucks. How do I uninstall this update? Well, I'll tell you. You go to your computer, go to settings, and then go to njpwworld.com and sign up for New Japan and watch your pro wrestling there, and leave this cartoon bullshit behind if you don't like this update. That's basically what it is. But regardless of all that, it doesn't matter what we have to watch, Ben, it's always a pleasure to get to hang out and talk to you. Because even though I've known you like the longest, we seem to get a chance to catch up the least, and that's just how it goes sometimes in this world. But thanks for stepping in for Big Ray and hanging out with me today, man.
Absolutely, Vet. I had a great time, man. And it was fun watching the show last night because it had me excited to hear your opinions on things, which are always absolutely valid. And you see a much bigger picture, but also are able to give that perspective in a microscopic way, man, to smarten me up on how things are that I might have missed and why they are the way they are. So I appreciate that. And everything you've done here at Hamin Media Group to fill in on everything from Impact and this show and being over at the Smack Attack, being a Grand Slammer, baby, 2-time. You want that Don Russ vet card. Absolutely, Grand Slam. There's going to be only 1 or 2 of those made. So
collector's edition. And it was nice to catch up with Silvio too, because that was the first full show I got to do with him. And it's just really nice when like you barely get a chance to hang out and talk to these people, but it somehow you just have that connection and you can just smoothly these shows come off without a hitch. Always have.
Time's passed it all. That's just how it is. Same old routine, flow right into it, man. I love that shit too. And shout out to Big Ray, man. Hopefully you're getting all your business taken care of. The wives and giant son that he has now is doing well and enjoying AEW. Unfortunately, I won't be going to the Brody Memorial Show tonight because of the way society is. But I will be at 2CW, and you never know. Going to be tons of surprises. It'll be streamed live on Friday from Syracuse. The Living on the Edge 2CW will be. So guys, go to YouTube, sign up on 2CW. It might be V2. I think it is. It might be 2.0. And yeah. We'll see about what happens to Moose, man.
Be sure to, no matter what happens, you let Moose know that he's got a #1 advocate right here on Hamin Media Group with the Impact Attack every week.
I will, man. No doubt about that for sure. So y'all law infidels, for the vet at Opinion Haver on Twitter, infidels, it's Hacker Hamin back on the scene, fresh off the green, Jamaica style man, veteran 2.0 edition of the Next Level podcast. Y'all.